Dreams. Some chase them, some achieve them, some build entire companies around them, most watch them crumble. You may think of startups as just innovation, disruption, and Silicon Valley success stories, or equations that need venture capital to be solved. But the real entrepreneurial decisions are made far away from pitch decks around kitchen tables, with hope, fear, ego, and personal conviction. The true nature of entrepreneurship is the dance between cold market realities and human ambition. When it comes to startups, we are complicated creatures, and business success is not so much about what you know, but how you execute. This video explores the brutal and human side of startup failure. The startup graveyard. We all have very different starting points when we decide to build a company. Consider two entrepreneurs. One who witnessed the 2008 financial crisis develops a cautious, validation-focused approach, while another who grew up during the venture capital boom adopts a growth-at-all-costs mentality. A person's experience with economic cycles during their formative years greatly shapes their attitudes toward risk and business strategy. People justify every business decision based on their mental model of entrepreneurship, shaped by their unique experiences with success and failure. According to research, 90% of startups fail, but no founder believes they'll be in that 90%. We all have unique perspectives on what it takes to build a successful company, and since there's no universally correct playbook for entrepreneurship, none of us is delusional for trying. The problem hunters. There is no doubt that companies like Apple, Google, and Amazon are considered some of the greatest business success stories of all time. What is staggering is that 42% of startup failures can be traced back to a single fundamental mistake: building something nobody wants. The most successful entrepreneurs didn't start with the best technology or the most funding. They started by identifying real problems that real people desperately needed solved. Consider the story of Airbnb. Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia were struggling to pay rent in San Francisco. During a design conference, when all hotels were booked, they decided to rent out air mattresses in their apartment. They weren't trying to disrupt the hospitality industry or create a billion-dollar platform. They were solving an immediate, tangible problem: expensive, unavailable accommodation during peak demand periods. Let's imagine an alternate reality where Chesky and Gebbia had instead focused on building the most technologically advanced booking platform without first validating that people actually wanted to stay in strangers' homes. They could have spent years perfecting algorithms, user interfaces, and payment systems, only to discover that their target market didn't exist. This happens to thousands of startups every year. Founders become so enamored with their solution that they forget to validate whether the problem they're solving actually matters to enough people who are willing to pay for it. The failure to validate market need is like building a bridge to nowhere. You can construct the most beautiful, structurally sound bridge in the world, but if there's no traffic that needs to cross that particular river, your bridge is worthless. The most crucial skill any entrepreneur can develop is not coding, not fundraising, not networking. It's the ability to identify and validate real market needs before investing significant time and resources into solutions. Cash flow quicksand. 29% of startups die from running out of money, but most don't fail because they couldn't raise funding. They fail because they misunderstood how money works in early-stage businesses. Cash flow in startups is like oxygen for mountain climbers. At sea level, you barely think about it, but as you climb higher, every breath becomes precious. Consider Quibi, which raised $1.75 billion and shut down within 6 months. They burned through their capital without achieving sustainable business metrics. Having money and knowing how to use it efficiently are entirely different skills. Unlike established businesses with predictable revenue, startups burn money while searching for a repeatable business model. The key insight is understanding that fundraising is not the goal. Building a self-sustaining business is. Money is simply the fuel that gets you there. The team paradox. 23% of startups fail due to team issues. We often think of entrepreneurship as a solo journey, but the most successful companies are built by teams with complementary skills. The challenge is that the skills required to start a company are often different from skills required to scale it. Consider Twitter's founding team. Jack Dorsey brought vision and technical skills. Biz Stone provided marketing expertise. Evan Williams contributed business experience, and Noah Glass offered the initial concept. Each founder brought essential but different capabilities. The trap many founders fall into is either trying to do everything themselves or partnering with people who have similar skill sets. The most resilient startups are built by teams where individual weaknesses are covered by others' strengths. Around this point in our exploration of startup failure, I want to recommend a book that has fundamentally changed how entrepreneurs think about building companies. The Lean Startup by Eric Ries is absolutely essential reading for anyone serious about entrepreneurship. You can find the link to purchase it on Amazon in the description below. This book introduces the concept of validated learning, which is exactly what we've been discussing. The idea that startups exist to learn how to build sustainable businesses, not just to build products. It's a book you should definitely buy and read, as it provides the framework for avoiding many of the failures we're discussing today. I've also included a free PDF resource in the description that complements the book perfectly. Download it, read it, and use it to think differently about your own challenges and opportunities. The competition trap. 19% of startups fail because they get outcompeted. Many founders believe having no competition validates their idea, when having no competition often means there's no market. The key is understanding how to compete effectively rather than avoiding competition altogether. Consider the ride-sharing wars between Uber and Lyft. Both entered a market with existing competitors, but focused on creating fundamentally better user experiences. Competition isn't just other companies building similar products. It's anything customers use to solve the problem you're trying to solve. Understanding this broader competitive landscape helps you position your solution more effectively and identify opportunities others might miss. The pricing puzzle. 18% of startups fail due to pricing and cost issues. Pricing isn't just about covering costs and adding profit. It's about understanding the value you create and capturing a fair portion of that value. The challenge is that you're often creating new product categories without established market prices to reference. Consider how software pricing evolved from one-time licenses costing thousands to subscription models to freemium approaches. Each model creates different cash flow dynamics and business sustainability requirements. The key insight is that pricing is not a one-time decision, but an ongoing experiment. The most successful startups constantly test and refine their pricing based on customer feedback, competitive dynamics, and their cost structure. The product reality check. 17% of startups fail because they build poor products. A poor product isn't necessarily one with bugs. It's often a product that fails to deliver meaningful value in a way that's easy to understand and use. Product quality in startups is like fitness for athletes. You can have all the knowledge and equipment in the world, but if you can't perform when it matters, none of that preparation is relevant. The most common product failures stem from building products that are too complex, trying to solve too many problems at once, or optimizing for technical elegance rather than user experience. The most successful products start by doing one thing exceptionally well, then gradually expand based on user feedback and demonstrated demand. The marketing mirage and customer blindness. 14% of startups fail due to poor marketing, and an equal percentage fail by ignoring customers entirely. Many founders believe if you build it, they will come. But building a great product is just the first step in customer acquisition and retention. The most successful startup marketing isn't about big advertising campaigns. It's about understanding exactly who your customers are, where they spend their time, and what problems keep them awake at night. Consider how Dropbox achieved massive growth without traditional advertising by building sharing mechanisms directly into their product and creating referral programs that benefited both parties. This wasn't just clever marketing, it was product design that incorporated growth from the beginning. The timing gamble and adaptation imperative. 10% of startups fail due to poor timing, launching too early when the market isn't ready or too late when the opportunity has passed. Consider video calling technology. Companies tried for decades before Zoom succeeded, not because the technology didn't work, but because internet bandwidth, camera costs, and user behavior hadn't aligned yet. Perhaps the most crucial factor separating successful startups from failed ones is adaptability. The famous example of Instagram illustrates this perfectly. The company started as Bourbon, a location-based check-in app. When founders noticed users only used the photo sharing feature, they pivoted entirely, simplified the app, and renamed it Instagram. This willingness to abandon their original vision led to their billion-dollar acquisition by Facebook. Building for the long game. The startup journey is longer and more challenging than most people anticipate. Most successful companies take years to find product-market fit, additional years to achieve sustainable growth, and even more years to become established businesses. Understanding this timeline helps set realistic expectations and emphasizes why team selection, financial management, and market validation are so critical. The entrepreneurs who build lasting companies understand that success is a continuous process of learning, adapting, and executing. They focus on building businesses that create genuine value for customers, sustainable unit economics, and organizational capabilities that evolve with changing market conditions. The path forward is not to avoid all pitfalls. That's impossible. Instead, understand these failure modes deeply enough to recognize them early and respond effectively. Build with humility, validate relentlessly, adapt quickly, and remember that every failure is tuition paid toward your entrepreneurial education. The 90% failure rate isn't a deterrent. It's a reminder that entrepreneurship is one of the most challenging and rewarding pursuits available to us. The 10% who succeed don't do so because they're exceptionally talented. They succeed because they understand and navigate the human and market realities of building businesses better than their peers. Remember, understanding why most startups fail is your first step toward ensuring yours doesn't. The market doesn't owe you success, but it will reward you handsomely if you can solve real problems for real people in a sustainable way. The question isn't whether you'll face these challenges, it's whether you'll be prepared when you do. If this video helped you think differently about entrepreneurship, hit that subscribe button and share it with someone who's thinking about starting their own company. Leave a comment about which failure mode surprised you most, or which one you think you're most likely to encounter. Until next time, keep building, keep learning, and remember, every successful entrepreneur started exactly where you are right now.